In America today, there are about 60,000 young people incarcerated on the order of a juvenile delinquency court. Nearly half are held in locked, long-term correctional facilities. But the compelling evidence is that locking up low-risk youth offenders doesn't reduce future offenses, wastes taxpayer dollars, and exposes young people to high levels of violence and abuse.
It ain't for me. I say that in my head every night before I go to sleep. Never come back. I promised my grandpa that. Never come back.
You slugged a teacher. That's kind of a serious thing.
I'm Soledad O'Brien, and I'm in New Orleans to learn about what critics call the school-to-prison pipeline that they say is funneling low-risk youth into the prison system for minor school infractions. Joseph's trouble started after his scuffle with his teacher. Instead of disciplining him, the school called the police and had him arrested.
There's a theory that would say, listen, smoking pot, not on his curfew, some kind of a skirmish with his teacher. Punish him.
Punish them, but don't send them to jail. Jail where they're going to be around people that are charged with violent offenses. Punish them and let their parents deal with it, let the school deal with it. Those are the people that should be handling it, not the police.
That kind of sentence creates more harm than it does good.
How so?
We may actually increase the likelihood that Joseph may go out and reoffend, where if he had been out in the community, we provided him with the services that he needed.
Skip detention altogether.
Skip detention altogether.
Superintendent Holt says Joseph's case is part of a pattern he sees of racial inequality.
Would Joseph's case be different, do you think, if Joseph were a suburban white kid?
Yes, my population is overwhelmingly African-American kids. 90% of my kids are African. 90% of my kids. In the 3 years I've been here, we've had maybe 5 white kids. This is no place for Joseph. Joseph can do very well in the community. If we could just identify what are those community supports that Joseph needs.
Some kind of way.
One group seeking to develop community-based programs as alternatives to juvenile detention calls itself Friends and Families of Louisiana's Incarcerated Children, or FLIC.
It's like being drafted into a war. Once he got into the juvenile system, we couldn't get him out.
Charmaine Washington's nephew, Miles, was a school-to-prison pipeline casualty. Charmaine and her family have come to the airport in New Orleans to greet Miles, now 43 years old and just released from prison in California. Miles was 14 years old when a couple of minor offenses culminated in an aggravated assault charge for a fistfight. After juvenile detention, Miles would spend the next 16 years behind bars at an adult prison for robbery and drug possession.
The biggest part about the school to prison pipeline is that in the juvenile system, they claim it's there for rehabilitative purposes, but it's really just preparing you for the next level.
The next level of crime. But now in New Orleans, there are attempts to counter the school to prison pipeline. A program to offer a positive alternative to street life or incarceration is the Youth Empowerment Project, where young men can get hands-on job training in a bicycle shop.
These are young people between the ages of 16 and 24 that maybe have had some issues in school or encounters with the juvenile justice system or criminal justice system.
One of these young men is Jaleel Holmes, who was pulled out of his classroom in school and taken directly to prison.
I went to school one morning and I had marijuana in my bag, and the police came and put me in handcuffs, and I went to jail that day.
There's many, many risk factors that impact young African-American men in the city of New Orleans. So I think poverty is a huge one. Violence and just kind of the allure of the sort of street life, getting fast money, easy money.
They never had no food, I ain't have clothes, I had to wear the same shoes to school every day. I always fighting because people made fun of me. So that's how, when I started hustling and I started getting a little burst of money, I couldn't stop because I was so used to being broke.
When young people come to the program, we give them access to a way to earn money in a very legal and honest way. We provide them with overall nurturance and support to help them be successful in a workplace environment. Jaleel is a good example of many of the young men that come through the Work and Learn Center because he is extremely intelligent, extremely driven. It's just a matter of getting an opportunity to really showcase that and exercise that in a positive avenue.
I I got involved in a youth empowerment program because I felt like I needed help. And now I feel like I'm in a better place. I'm actually doing something positive.
The Youth Empowerment Project is not only helping Jaleel get his GED and find a job, it also has the potential to change his life.
I mean, you trying right now.